Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to our channel We Matter. I am your host Hina Zaidi, and as the title of this video shows, this video is a continuation of our previous session with Dr. Sadruddin Pardhan. So here we are again with a part 2 of the exclusive premiere featuring Dr. Sadruddin Pardhan's journey from his childhood to the community impact. If you haven't watched the first part yet, you can find the link in this video's description or by visiting our channel We Matter. So in the previous part, Sir Sadruddin Pardhan shared with us some of his beautiful childhood memories, his educational and career related developments in a sequential way. In this part, we will continue the discussion right where we left off. Because in our channel We Matter, we focus a lot on mental well-being and healthy minds development, we were discussing how a happy childhood impacts the development of a healthy mind and personality. Ji sir, you can continue from here.
You see, that happy time, it was not only in the studies, at home, parental care, mother's care. I was also a sportsman. I ended up playing big time cricket. I played for Kenya. I also played a lot of table tennis. Again, I was a champion in Kenya. So, so all these things were possible because of support that I had right from my childhood. I mean, there was never an issue that, my God, we are again going to play. Our training was such that we balanced the formal learning with the informal and other learnings. Yeah.
And another thing, sir, that I would like to add into Hina's point and the story that you have shared, like the role of the mother, I think that all along has been so fulfilling for you to turn out yourself into a happy child. सो मुझे तो ये रेजोनेट कर रहा है कि वर्ड्सवर्थ का कोई हैप्पी चाइल्डहुड जो कि वो वुड्स में जाके उछल कूद कर रहा है और अपने आप को नेचर के साथ भी वो देख सकता है. I think mothers are the first nursery, and you got into the best place that you could relate with the world outside so comfortably. So, sir, considering that, what value you put to early childhood development coming from such happy childhood experience? This is one part of my question.
Yes. So can I answer that first?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You see, Musarrat, this is a very interesting point. And why I'm saying this is, and again, I'll inshallah come to it later on, maybe not this time, but another time.
Yes.
You see, remember, early childhood is not only, it doesn't only happen in a school. The most important part of early childhood happens at home.
Yes.
And that nurturing, that love that you get from the parents, particularly the mother, is extremely important. And I'll tell you two very interesting stories.
Yes, sir.
One is that you see, I was probably 3-4 years old. I was playing with a friend, and we were playing on the roof of a garage, which was just there in our neighborhood.
Yes.
And one of my friends he just threw a small metal piece, thinking that I would catch it. And I was too young to catch the thing, and it hit me on the head.
Oh.
And the next thing I know is that all my shirt was red with blood.
Mm-hmm.
So I rushed home, and my mother was just absolutely amazed. She left whatever she was doing and she rushed me to the hospital. It was about 1 kilometer away. So here I was with her. She just literally took me there. And fortunately, there was no fracture, but there was a deep cut on my head, on the side of the head. And personally, I can assure you that I've never seen so much blood in my life. It was absolutely amazing. That care always stayed with me. It always stayed with me. Another example of how the mother helped was, as I said earlier on, I used to play a lot of cricket. Now, once we played cricket in a place called Miwani. Now, Miwani is in the sugar belt of Lake Victoria,
Yes, sir.
and a lot of mosquitoes there. And I must have been beaten badly. So when I came home a few days later, I had strong fever, a very high fever, and apparently I had got malaria. And there she was. I mean, the temperature was usually around 104 degrees, and she was very, very scared. And there she was with cold potas, putting
Yes, sir.
on my forehead
Forehead. Yeah,
to make sure that the temperature didn't rise.
yeah,
And that care always stayed with me because she was always there. You see,
yeah.
so it's not only about food, about nurturing us, helping us to learn different things, but always supporting to make
And
sure that
fostering.
we
Yeah,
were confident. So that part, combined with the happy time that I had in the nursery school, with very loving teachers and very
teachers.
loving teachers even in the primary school. So I don't know if I lucked it out, but those were extremely happy memories, and they have always stayed with me. And I think that's one of the reasons why I still remember my childhood from
So
when I
fondly.
was even three
Yeah.
years old. You see, yeah.
Yeah. So, sir, another question related to your ECD. Uh, what we feel is now with the increasing economic pressures, um, both the parents they need to go out to earn to fulfill the economic needs, the rising challenges, the rising school fee, the electricity bills in countries like ours or developing countries mainly. But the challenges are, I think, everywhere, but in countries like ours, where both the parents have to go out to seek for the food and basic needs of the children, so
Yes.
this connection of motherhood is now getting missed, and and one of the reason that we see that children are not coming as happy to schools where their parents are paying a very heavy price, but the temptations of the outside world are taking the toll on the young minds in cities like Karachi, Islamabad, Lahore, Faisalabad, and Chitral and other places, because somewhere that fostering of the innocent child is getting missed, and those are getting pushed behind fulfilling the basic needs. So, sir, where do you think that the teacher and family and the community, three of them, can play an important part, because the responsibility has increased manifold?
Yeah, I think this is an absolutely critical question, actually. Now, you see, let me give you an example of how things happen here in Canada.
Yes, sir.
And I think it is also quite possible that we can do it in Pakistan.
Mm.
You see, here, uh, a uh, a mother who has delivered a child gets 1 full year off, fully paid. Now, this means that she doesn't have to worry about earning money because the money is already there, and the child is in care of the mother. And I think the best caregiver for a child is the mother. So that's the
Yes,
first
sir.
point.
Yes,
The
sir.
second point is that the government encourages you know caregiving facilities so that
Yes.
mothers who are working can place their children in those facilities, and the teachers are also well trained to look after the children. Now, of course, the teacher doesn't have the same love for the child that the
Yes.
mother will have, but at least
Yes.
it is a good alternative. But this is where the training of the teacher comes into play. And the third thing, which is I think very possible in Pakistan,
Yes, sir.
is community. And I think communities in the rural setting in Gilgit Baltistan, Chitral area can play a huge role. And I think they have played a very important role. And I think there are new programs that I know, for example, Aga Khan Education Service had launched, and ITREB had launched, where the community participation was made. You know, there was a so-called Parvaz program where mother, child, and the community were all involved, so that the child gets the as good a nurturing environment as is possible. But it is a huge issue. But there is one other issue also as a result.
Yes, sir.
What is happening is that, you see, when I grew up,
Yes, sir.
I had my siblings with me, right?
Yes,
We were five of us, and
yes,
when mother was not there, there was always somebody to play with. Today, because of all these issues and because it's so expensive to raise a child, there are fewer and fewer children who are going to be born, which
yes, sir.
means that the pressures on the child are going to be very different. The social skills will be very, very different. So,
Yes, sir.
so, so I think the point you are raising is a critical point, and I think this is where a lot of new programs are being tested in Chitral in Gilgit Baltistan, and I know AKES has taken a lead role in that, and they are trying to develop a lot of capacity of young women who are involved with early childhood education. So I think that's perhaps the only way we can help. Of course, the other one is that the family sacrifices, and the mother stays home. But as you rightly point out, life is becoming unaffordable. I mean, with all the issues countries like Pakistan are facing, and it's not only Pakistan, majority of
Yes, sir.
developing countries have that problem.
Yes.
So so we will see increasingly different uh, type of environment that the children are brought up in.
Yes, sir. And that sort of environment is actually not inculcating the right values in the children, like with which you grew, like sharing, respecting, and sharing the food, setting the table for others. These things are now, being replaced by, the servants are doing, because the affordability to hire domestic help has increased. And the children are not, being held responsible for sharing the little task with parents at home. So with this, I think there is a sort of indifference developing in children, that whatever they are getting in life, they are entitled to get it. So
Yeah.
this is another very sad thing. Will you please comment on it?
Yeah, in 2015,
Yes, sir.
we tested a new program.
Yes, sir.
We called it Parvaz.
Yes, sir.
Now, in that program, it was spread over about 13 to 14 weeks, where
Mhm.
the mother and the child came together for uh, for meeting with other about 12, 15 families. So you had about 15 mothers and about 15 children, and sometimes grandparents also came. And what we did was that we encouraged a lot of play, between the mother and the child, and the importance of that play. And it was also very oriented, because it was done mainly in within the Ismaili community, and it
Mhm.
became so successful that we learned so much out of it, that it was now implemented in AKES schools. So, for example, Sultan Muhammad Shah Khan School started the Parvaz program, and the
Yes, sir.
mothers were so amazed when they saw that. that the children were also children and mothers were also getting play, you see, so that they put Allah right at the center of everything. And suddenly suddenly we found that the number of applicants shot up. Everybody wanted to
Oh,
study
great.
in that school. Yeah. So there are ways in which one can help, but
Yeah.
I think it is possible in private not-for-profit schools where somebody is there to take to ensure that the teacher is well developed. Somebody is there to take care of the
Yes, sir.
mothers when they come. Somebody is there to respect the child. Everything that you think about in emotional intelligence is practiced there, you see. And I think that would be the best thing. And I think this is also happening in Gilgit Baltistan and Chitral. But I think we can do much better, because I think the government is pretty well positioned to be able to do that if they involve the community. Unfortunately, the community sometimes says that no, this is government's business. They should look after our children, and I think that is wrong. I really feel
Yes,
that the
absolutely.
partnership should be between the parents, the larger community, the government, and of course the child should be at the center. And I think
Absolutely.
that is the one way in which we can hope that our children will be good. Also remember, also
Yes, sir.
remember the world around us is changing dramatically. So, for example, right from the age 2 or 3, children now have access to these handheld gadgets,
Yes, sir.
iPads and or the tablets and phones and the like. And sometimes parents say, "Let them be busy. I can do my other work."
Oh my God, that's happening. Yes.
That's not a good alternative,
Yes, sir. And sir,
because the
yeah.
child is deprived. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So another thing, we are so efficient in following the trends on social media. I
Yes.
don't know why don't we make the good trends, the good practices, the trends on social media, and have larger groups follow that and incorporate that in their learning. Because if one can go after a bag or a personality, glamorized. So I think such good practices should be put more on the social media for people to adopt them. This is one suggestion that I would like to put through this forum, because to see the future of education in Pakistan, we all need to share the good practices on social media, and because if they can be adopted, they are for the greater good. And as you have mentioned, only the it is not the job of the government to do everything for all of us. We all need to put our share into it. So what is your take on that, sir?
No, I totally agree. But you see, I think the problem with social media is that, you see, you and I, or the three of us, may think that yes, uh, we can do it. But you see, the world out there is not just interested in this kind of education, right? There is a lot of junk and garbage that comes. I mean, just open your
Yeah.
WhatsApp,
True.
open your Twitter, open
Yeah.
your TikTok. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a lot of junk, and it captivates the children. And once they get hooked onto that, you know,
Mm.
in many respects, you are lost.
Yes, sir.
So you see what has happened in many schools in Canada now is that mobile phones are banned in schools. So
That's good.
6 7 hours, the children have no access to mobile phones. And the message to the parents is that, look, it's not mobile phones, handheld units are not uh, good for the child's well-being. But we are now dealing with literally millions of people, and not everybody is going to follow this, and this is where the issue comes up, you see.
Yes, sir.
And that brings us to the end of part 2 of another insightful session with Sir Pardhan. His unique perspectives have truly given us a lot to reflect on. Thank you so much, sir. Also, a special thanks to Musarrat for raising such thoughtful questions. We are excited to continue this conversation in part 3, where we will dive even deeper into Sir Pardhan's valuable experiences. Until then, take care, stay mindful, and remember, your well being matters. Wishing you more peace and positivity. See you soon with part 3. Take care. Allah Hafiz.